I think dumpster diving first came to me across a Facebook video. I'm not gonna lie, we love social media for that reason. And I think seeing it on social media made it an okay thing for me to do. Since I knew other people were doing it and other people were brave enough to put it out there that they were doing it, it encouraged me to at least try. And then, of course, from there, you find a lot of resources that tell you how to do it safely, things to avoid. That way, you don't get arrested. Just kind of what you can do with the things that you dumpster dive, how it can impact yourself, your community, and I think your cost of living as well as your quality of living. Part of my encouragement for it was growing up in a really poor area of Kentucky. And so having a family where mother was supporting three kids and a husband, you realize that there are other means to support that. You look at food poverty, you look at food insecurity in areas like Eastern Kentucky, and you see people spending what little money they have on foods that cost little but will last a long time, right? That can really make a family be fed for months at a time. If you need stuff that's usually preserved, stuff that isn't always the healthiest. And then you go to your local grocery store dumpster and you find out that they're throwing away bags of potatoes and lemons and limes that have a single one that have gone bad. And it just seems wasteful. It just kind of seems like there are better things that we could be doing with this. One of my craziest finds was at a big box store, and when I looked over the edge, it was just fresh produce galore. Boxes and boxes of bananas, boxes and boxes of tomatoes, of potatoes, a lot of them that weren't even damaged besides having been thrown in there. From that single haul, let's say that, what does a bunch of bananas cost? Like maybe $3? Let's say $3 for a bunch of bananas. And I'd say I gathered you could have gathered over 50, 100 bunches of these things. So when you think of that alone, combined with all the other fresh produce in there, I'd say that dumpster, I could see on the top at least $500, $600 worth of produce in itself. And that's not counting whatever was underneath. A lot of the times I'll go to grocery stores and pull out cartons of eggs that maybe a single egg has broken in it, still usable. There's no reason why a single lemon that has come from a bag couldn't be taken out, the rest cleaned, and sold individually like they do with plenty of other produce. I've seen name brand microwaves, vacuums thrown out, all because they were returned. That's what doesn't make sense to me, is that producers are realizing that a lot of the items that they're making just have too high of a price tag on them for what they're worth. And so then they get the tax write-offs, or they get whatever benefits by just getting rid of those items instead of having them take up retail space. You realize from there that a lot of these stores don't have their consumers' best interest at heart. They're just trying to make money. That's, at the end of the day, we're dollar signs to a lot of those department stores. There have been multiple times when I have been walked up upon when I've been diving by myself, a lot of the times at night, which is not responsible of me. I've had people run after my car, literally yelling at me and threatening me. I've had workers come out and tell me I'm not allowed to dive there and that, it's illegal, or I'm trespassing when there are no signs. I am very inspired and encouraged to dive. Even though I can support myself, I make sure that I use that privilege that we had spoken about, as far as knowing that if I show up in my vehicle and somebody sees me, I'm probably just going to get a slap on the hand. I know of a lot of people without housing who, if they get caught diving, they have a lot more intense repercussions for them. And that's why I try to be as responsible as possible when I do dive. I try to avoid areas that have people I know that are without housing that might use that for sustenance. I try to collect any materials that I do find that I'm not taking with me back to donate, to use. I try to leave them to the side for other divers that might come upon them, and I always try to be as respectful and responsible as possible as far as leaving the area as I found it, or better than before.